Hey, what is up, Enlightenment Therapy family? This is Tony Wang here, and today I want to share a very special video that I recorded with Filip Mihajlovic, who is the son of Zivorad Slavinski, as you know, the godfather of our work, one of the most prolific and well-respected spiritual authors, researchers, psychologists of Eastern Europe. And Philip has basically taken his father's work and applied them towards practical goal achievement. How to use spirituality to bring what you desire into physical reality, in a way that is aligned and in harmony with your inner self. Because as most of us know, a lot of times when we're going after our goals, we set a goal and then somewhere along the way, we just kind of stop, or we run into a challenge and we give up, or we just have this internal conflict, like we don't deserve it or believe that it's too hard. And Philip talks about how we can clear all that so that achievement of the goal is natural and easy. And as someone who's known Philip for 10 years and gone through the process many times, I can attest to the power and effectiveness of the system. And we break down why it works, how it works, and some of the mistakes that people make when it comes to working on your goals. So it's a really insightful interview. I apologize, my webcam wasn't working, but the content's really good, and I encourage you to stay all the way through the end to just soak up all this information. All right, cool. So let's get started, Philip. So first of all, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do for those who aren't as familiar.
I'm success coach or something like that, like person who is coaching workshops or developed systems that are used for achieving goals in harmony. So basically, spiritual and self-improvement techniques that are used in order to make you much more able to achieve your goals. So I'm doing that from since 1991. So this is when I started to do that. I am the son of one of really the most famous people from Eastern Europe in the area of spirituality and self-improvement, gnosis, and things like that. And that was my life. That was part of my life for most of my life. And I believe that the systems that I created about that are pretty much the best systems of this kind in the world, on the planet today. And this is pretty much that.
Great.
That's pretty
Yeah,
much
thank you.
what I have to say about that.
Yeah, thanks for that that summary there. So yeah, so I kind of want to dive into something you said about growing up with one of the most well-known authors, researchers in spirituality as your father, and how that influenced, your I guess your career, your path, your life's work. So I'm just curious, I'm sure unlike many people, you grew up in a family that seems that was just very open to spirituality. So how did that influence your work and kind of have you focus on goal achievement? Because a lot of times when we think about goal achievement, it's more from the perspective of personal development, achievement. It's kind of like a different level of consciousness than what most people think about spirituality. So I'd love to hear more about, your own influences, and also how you kind of integrate those two in your work.
Yeah, this is a really good question. I was because my father was a person like that. That whole ideology, or basically that whole system of values, was pretty much integrated in my own reality. So I didn't have something like period of getting accustomed to ideas of that, but it was pretty much all the time part of my life. I participated in intensive Gnosis intensive when I was 13. So I had my first enlightenment or Gnosis experience when I was 13. And it was pretty much part of my life. But on the other side, I was really shy as a kid. Like I was like my father used to say that if somebody gave me $5 bill, I wouldn't be able to sell it for $1 or something like that. I was really shy. And when my father started to develop and practice some self-improvement systems which are self-improvement, not just gnosis or mystic experiences like enlightenment. When he started to develop such techniques, it was really something that changed my life right away. Like I started to practice that like fanatically from the very beginning, because I really needed that, because I really was like shy or wasn't able to manifest myself to make people know me and to be open to communicate and things like that. And because of that these techniques really allowed, like they were like they would say red carpet, or not carpet, but something that they use for bulls to, like, when I experienced that, I started to practice it right away really hard, and to experience really great results from that, and changes that I had were really dramatic and obvious, not only to me but to people around me, things like that.
Gotcha.
You maybe had some other part of the question, but I forgot it. You can maybe repeat, or if I forgot to say something.
Sure. So it sounds like you were using techniques infused with the spiritual principles that your father came up with, applied towards personal development, self-improvement. In your case, it was being more confident socially. And once you saw the results of that, and other people started noticing the results of that, it sounds like you were just really intrigued and wanted to just continue doing this type of work. Is that
yes,
kind of...
I really started to practice it hard, and I really started I started right away to coach people. Like it was like 3 months since I started practicing myself, I coached my first workshop about it, because and it was also the strange thing, because I insisted on doing that. My father thought that I wouldn't be able to do something like that, because I was shy and things like that I wouldn't be able to talk to a group of people and to coach them, to teach them what to do, how to live their lives and things like that. But I was able, and I insisted that, although he rejected my first few attempts to become coach, like I insisted, and I was started to professionally work with that and professionally live like that, to earn money, just in a few months.
Great. Yeah. So it sounds like that's a huge testament to the effectiveness of these techniques.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So just kind of circling back on one of the questions from earlier. So how, where does the spirituality aspect come into it? Because we can think about, goal achievement as something as, I want this and I don't have it right now. And if I take actions A, B, C, then I'll get there. And then spirituality seems to be kind of a different perspective, where it's more self-acceptance, like compassion, unity. So how do you kind of blend these two ideas together for those that are familiar with the system?
Yes, again, this is a really good question. There is, I believe, artificial divide between spirituality and success in everyday life. This is based on ideas which are really ancient. So, for example, if you lived in India 500 years ago and you have enlightenment and you want to live spiritual life, you would basically remove yourself from your everyday life. But most people today are not doing that. So basically they have spiritual experiences and things like that, but they continue to live their everyday lives. And this is what where that belief that being successful is unspiritual, then it becomes a problem, because you cannot really be in harmony with yourself if you are not in harmony with your environment. Or well, the less you're in harmony with environment, the less you are in harmony with yourself. You cannot really be in full harmony with yourself if you're not. So it is necessary. I don't believe that there is conflict between these two things, because it really depends how you define spirituality. I really don't define spirituality as something that is in conflict with being successful. I really believe that spirituality is being in harmony with yourself. So if you treat it like that, and this actually, if you pay attention to all spiritual techniques, all spiritual experiences that you have, they are all oriented toward increasing the amount of harmony that you have with yourself, amount of harmony that you have with yourself and with the environment. And because of that, I really believe there is no conflict between spirituality and success in that area. And not only that, but I really believe that you cannot do anything better for yourself or for your spiritual development than trying to achieve yourself your goals in harmony with yourself. There are different things. If you are trying to achieve your goal and you are like forcing yourself to work totally impossible hours and you're stressed and things like that, of course, this is not spiritual. But if you are using techniques for self-improvement while you are trying to achieve your goals, like we do in Quick Goals, then it is totally different thing. And it is, I really believe, it is much more effective tool to work on yourself, to self-improve, than some spiritual, quote unquote, techniques. Because when you are working, when you're using self-improvement techniques to achieve your goals, you are making improvements in your behaviors or in your states, in your conditions, in the states that you're experiencing. Because of that, you are always working on the real barriers that you have. You're always working on the real limitations that you have, really problematic behaviors that block you in regard to achievement of your goals. When you are working with spiritual techniques, like you say, okay, I'm trying to control my ego, or you're doing some things like that, then you're read that in some book. Maybe you have some cognition about this is what I need to do. But actually, it is questionable if you are using your time in the best possible way. When you are working on your goals and you realize what are your limitations, when you have unoptimal behaviors and you eliminate them, you eliminated things that are absolutely there. They are tangible things that are blocking you from having optimal behaviors in some areas. It is really, really effective work. When you are working on, you have some theory and you started working on that and you are meditating on such and such topic and things like that, it is really questionable if this is the best possible use of your energy and time for self-improvement. When you're working on your goals and you're eliminating blocks and beliefs that are blocking you from behaving in the optimal way, you know that these are real problems for you. And eliminating them is really the best possible thing that you can do. I really believe that. I have spent my whole life in contact with spirituality, and this is what I have to say about that.
Sure. So it sounds like the spiritual path and the path of the path of spiritual development and the path of let's call it self-improvement or goal achievement are really one of the same, because in order to achieve goals,
absolutely believe that, because I really like a person needs to ask herself, what does she perceive as spirituality? I really believe that spirituality is being more and more in harmony with yourself.
Yeah, that's a great definition, because I think, something that blocks a lot of people from living the life that they want, having what they want, being who they want, is this belief that, they should be spiritual, they should be this or that. And then they have these definitions like, oh, if I'm spiritual, then I can't be wealthy, or I can't do this or that. And then I guess what I'm trying to ask is, in your work with clients, do you see that conflict where people have, beliefs about spirituality should be this way, and my goals that I also want should be this way, and I want both, so therefore I'm kind of being pulled in two different directions?
Absolutely. I think that this is what I call spirituality myth. Like, this is, of course, my own definition of that, but actually, like, most of people are influenced by the scenography or folklore of spirituality that you have, like some yogi in India who is not interested in
a monk with no possessions, just meditating on top of a mountain all day.
Yes, absolutely, something like that. But this is really like just a scenery for something, and this might be relevant in some context, in some situation, like in context of like person 300 years ago, which is in such situation. But when you continue, like even it could be relevant if you want something like that, you should go to monastery and live in I don't know, Zen monastery or something like that. This is totally okay, totally cool. Then you are doing the right thing. But if you are staying and continuing to live your everyday life, then it is not spiritual to, I don't know. Just one moment to turn off my telephone.
Yeah, no problem.
So if you continue to live your everyday life like normal person, and you go to work and have kids and things like that, then you really need to find a way to be in harmony with yourself, or to be spiritual in that life. And it is not spiritual, I believe, when to I don't know, worry about your debt on the credit card most of the time, because you would worry if you have a family and you have problem with that. It is not spiritual thing to worry about that and have live like that most of the time, and then go 2 days on some spiritual retreat and meditate for 2 days, and then go back to your everyday life and continue worrying about your debt or something like that. This is not, I don't find anything spiritual in that behavior. This is totally not in harmony with yourself. You will not be able to really do the best thing that you should do even in these 2 days when you are in that spiritual retreat, because you will have one part of your attention on a realization that when it is over, I will go back to my everyday life.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, so in regards to the system itself, one philosophy that's gotten really popular in terms of goal achievement, or we can call it manifestation, is the law of attraction. And a lot of people practice it, or they try it to bring about something they want into their material reality. So, and I think most people listening to this have an idea of the law of attraction. So how does your system differ from it, or in what ways is it the same? Is it different? Like, just kind of how, just if you can just talk about how it relates to the law of attraction, or maybe it doesn't at all.
I really believe this is really different from the law of attraction. Basically, I would say that the only similarity that you have with the law of attraction is the things that people who are promoting the law of attraction promise. This is what we deliver with quick goals. This is your only similarity. Only thing that is similar is that you can expect to get results that you expected when you tried to practice the law of attraction. The reason for that, there are a few reasons for that. Problems with the law of attraction are, first, there is the technique that they are trying to use to improve your inner states, like auto-suggestion or something like that, visualization. These are really ineffective techniques to self-improve yourself. It can work for some people who don't have really who don't have important emotional conflicts about achievement of their goals, and this is almost non-existent part of population. You can have a person who is really in good shape, and when he starts visualizing, he might become more focused on the achievement of his goal. But most of us, we are not achieving our goals because we have inner conflicts. And auto-suggestion or visualization as a tool for self-improvement is really lacking, or it is not really effective technique for that. You really need to have some technique which will allow you to eliminate conflicts that you have. If you pay attention, if you are using auto-suggestion, you say to yourself every day, I am really successful, I'm millionaire, or something like that. In the moment when you are saying that, this is a lie. You know that your current situation is not that you are a millionaire. You know what are problems that you have in regard to money and things like that. Basically, you are telling yourself a lie. If you would be able to continue with that for a really long time, that would, after some time, slowly make you improve your behavior. But this is something that almost nobody can endure. Because, like, if you pay attention, what is problematic about that is that if you are trying to continue your exercise of auto-suggestion, before you start that exercise, if you said, I will do that in the morning, when you try to do that, you know that what are your auto-suggestions, you know what are your affirmations, and you know that they are not truth, and you will have resistance toward practicing. And because of that, if you continue for a long time, that resistance will be able to digest your problems in the area in that area. But it really needs years of practicing, and almost nobody is able to do that, because whole process is contradictory in itself, or basically it has paradox in itself, because when you need to start doing it, you will have resistance toward practicing, and because of that, you will stop practicing. After some time, you will do that 10 days or 20 days or 1 month or something for most people, and you will give up, because it is so the nature of the technique is that it really activates negative emotions that you have in the area of your goal. And because of that, these emotions will be activated. And you don't eliminate them. You just activate them, and you continue. You are experiencing them, and this is why the whole process becomes a really unpleasant exercise for you. Or even if you visualize nice experiences that you will have when you achieve your goal, you're visualizing them, but actually all the barriers that you have in regard to that will get activated, and they will make you feel negative feelings about that. And you probably know that scientific research is that they like from the last few years, they all show that people who are giving themselves positive affirmations about how they feel, positive feelings that they have, and positive things that they will experience, most of them are having worse results in material world than people who are not. They make experiments about that, and this is quite logical, because when you repeat these positive affirmations, when you repeat these things, what I will experience when I am really full of money, in a way you are completing that cycle. You're experiencing achievement of that goal in your mind instead of in material reality, and that naturally reduces your motivation for that. This is quite natural thing. Like there is many scientific researches that shows absolutely that. If it is quite logical if you think about it.
Right. Wow, that's really interesting. And as you're saying that, this weird example just came to my mind, and that kind of relates. I used to live in Las Vegas with a couple of roommates, and they had cats, and the cats they would they would poop in the litter box, and it would smell really bad, but then they would just spray this like deodorizer that didn't really work. It was more of like just like a nice flowery scent to cover up the smell. But then when I walked into that room, the laundry room, it just smelled even worse, because now I have the strong scent plus the poop smell.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's what a lot of people try to do when they do affirmations or visualizations, because they're on the positive. They create the positive polarity, or what they want, but they don't address what's blocking them, which sounds like
absolutely
the main reason why people are blocked in achieving their goals. So I do want to back up a bit. And I noticed, we're talking about some theoretical stuff here. I was wondering if you could give some concrete examples or specific stories of some of the goals that your clients have achieved using this process. Just whatever comes to mind, anything that kind of stands out, or just kind of even just the typical results that people have.
There is a person in a group that I'm still at this moment in time coaching a group in a pretty similar way in which we will do that later together. But there is a person whose goal was to become a really successful trader, like trading on the stock market and things like that. And was his goal since he came into program. And we were able to really watch his journey in that area. He worked on that, and at first he was working on he eliminated emotional conflicts that he had about that. He created things that he needs to actions that he needs to take in order to...
Can you give any examples of when you say emotional conflicts? I don't know if you can share, but just what are some examples, just so people have an idea of, what is an emotional conflict?
Like most popular, for example, in his case, there was emotional conflict that this is really totally different reality that he's accustomed to. So basically, this is some people who are earning such and such amount of money. They are different people than I am. So basically, this is not natural thing for my reality. This is not natural experience for my reality. Then it was something like he had different limited beliefs about his own behavior. So I'm a person who is not patient enough. I'm because some of his previous experiences with trading were like that. He was checking his results all the time, and you cannot do that when you are trading on a stock market. They say, okay, once you do that, you need to create specific rules for yourself. When is the next situation that you will check, and when you will be able, when you will consider selling or not selling or something like that. And his all previous experiences showed him that he is not patient enough about that, and different
Mhm.
things like that. And when he created like different, he created what we call best case scenario, things that need to happen, or sequence of in-between outcomes which need to happen in order for him to be able to achieve his goal. And he worked on that from that list of actions for some time. After some time, he said something like, I was really doing well, but then I became really anxious about things, and I made a few totally irrational decisions, and I almost destroyed everything. But he continued. Like, he processed himself, like eliminated stress that he experienced like that. He looked at what was situation that activate these negative feelings that he had, and he dealt with that. And after some time, his solution for that was, I need to be disciplined and to behave in harmony with in accord with my trading system. He created trading system. I'm doing this in that situation, I'm doing that in that situation, but he didn't follow these rules. He said, I need to do that. And he did that for a few days after that. After some time, he realized, okay, I have all these rules. It is much more logical for me to create automated system, because he has experience as like in information technologies, and he was able to create application that will do all these things for him. And like the experience that we had on the meeting like 2 weeks ago is that he came and said, okay, I absolutely achieved the goal that I set at the beginning. I cannot believe that this is working. I went into bed last night, and when I woke up this morning, that my automated system made me such and such. It was a really big amount of money for that. And he is really he's trading in this moment like automatically. Like he's making some kind of adjustment. I don't know. I didn't see that software or things like that. But actually, he's absolutely exhilarated with what is happening about that. This is one of the examples. Like one of my really close associates is Svetlana Golubeva. Her goal, her goal, like 6 or 7 years ago, was, when he started doing that, was to leave her job and start coaching business. She started coaching business. Because she worked with me with different systems from that point on. I was able to look at her whole development of her life in that area. Like, she started coaching, she started scheduling workshops, she started to make some kind of audience for herself and things like that. After some like maybe just half a year, he was able to professionally live from that. But now she's having some kind of internet-based business. She's earning much more money than I do. And she is doing it on she has a team of something like 8 or 9 people who are working for her, like social media and things like that. Like, this is another example of that. Like this system, like one of the things that were really impressive for me was that when I created second, latest version of this system, quick goals. Before that, it was previous version was called spiritual option. When I created latest version, I went to coach that in Moscow, and Sveta organized it for me. Like, on that workshop, there were 35 participants. Of these 35 participants, 28 participated in previous, or basically already practiced previous version, spiritual option version of quick goals. Of these, in some moment we started to, started at the beginning of workshop, I started to talk about previous experiences that participants had, and some of them like wanted to talk about it, and they started to talk. After some time, we realized that from these 28 people who participated in spiritual option before, who were practicing spiritual option before coming to that workshop, all 28 achieved the goals that they worked on when they went through the workshop.
Wow.
This was that was really
so 100% success rate from those participants.
Of course, like I'm a mathematician, and I know what is irregular sample that you do. Of course, if you pay attention, these are people who came to my workshop, to second version of my system, and
so they already had the experience.
They were probably happy with the first one, but actually I was really impressed or surprised by that.
So what's interesting to me there is, you say the words practice the system, and this group of people, they've already had exposure before, they've been doing it for a while. So what stands out to me is that this is, we can kind of see this like a skill where you do it over time and you get the results. Whereas I think a lot of people don't see goal achievement that way, or they don't see it in terms of a skill set that you can develop to get more predictable results. It's, maybe if I get lucky, maybe if I work hard enough and then this happens. But it really sounds like, there's some things that we can practice and get better at, and then that's going to help us, just really accelerate achievement of our goals. Is that kind of how it works? Like, would you say it is a skill that can be developed?
In a way, absolutely yes. If you pay attention, like if you continue to behave the same way that you behaved before, you must expect that you will get the same results. So basically, if you want to have different results, if you want to have different reality, you need to behave differently. And problem with that is that most people know how they should behave. They are not behaving as they shouldn't because they are stupid and they don't know how they should behave. They behave because they have problematic emotions that are blocking them from changing their behavior. And if you really want to have effective goal achievement system, you really need to be able to eliminate these emotions in order to be able to change behavior. This is something that needs to happen. And of course, like if you said, is it a skill that you can acquire? I wouldn't use the word skill, because it may sound like it is possible that you don't have skill and that you are not able to develop skill. It is really, I believe, like on some level, you can watch it as set of steps that you need to take in order to get yourself in optimal emotional state for achievement of your goals, and to create a clear vision of how I can achieve my goal. And this is not a skill. This is like a set of step-by-step instructions, what you need to do.
The process.
Yes, this is just really simple process that really will get you into optimal emotional state, that will allow you to find clear vision of how to achieve your goal. And when you start taking actions, you will have routine or procedure that will keep you in that optimal state, because some of these ideas that you have how to achieve your goal, some of them will work, and these steps that you will take will get you closer and closer to the goal that you want to achieve. But some of your first ideas about that will not. You must really expect that some of the ideas that you have about how you will achieve your goal are wrong. And because of that, you need to have something to keep you in a good emotional state to modify that behavior. Because most people are not robots. You really, when you encounter some negative outcomes, you will feel bad. And in most people, are really, really prone to give up their goals in such situation. And because of that, your system needs to be able to keep you in that optimal state, to keep you in a good, positive emotional state when something like that happens. And we have really, really good techniques for getting you into that state. So this is part of the answer. I somehow forgot what was everything that you asked me about that.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Just the idea that, you know, goal achievement isn't just I think about something and I take action and I achieve it. It's a really messy process, you know.
Yes.
Something I've heard from, you know, pretty much a lot of interviews with some of the world's most successful people. They all say it's a lot of persistence, and that's the one quality that they all have, is just not giving up when things don't go their way, because that's inevitable. It's part of life. So it sounds like this system is one of the advantages, is that when you do reach that obstacle, you have a way to correct yourself. So instead of giving up, you're back on track. And then if you can replicate that, then it's only a matter of time before you reach your goals, because you're always self-correcting and moving in the right direction. Is that kind of the overall idea?
Absolutely. There are, if you pay attention, this is quite obvious thing, and you can, when you're watching from a side, you really can see that in people. Okay, you can, but there are people who are able to do that, like modify their behaviors like that. They are really, really, really rare. There are some people like, I don't know, Bill Gates or Michael Jordan or things like that. They are able to, when, like they say, when going gets tough, the tough gets going. But actually, most of us, we are not able to do that. And because of that, when you're practicing quick goals, you are able to have behaviors of really most successful people. Like, this is how really, really successful people behave. But actually, you are able to control it. Even these successful people, they have these characteristics. But it really depends on situation that they are in, on conflicts that they are activated, and things like that. Here you can really control the whole process. You can with this system, you can create these behaviors and keep them regardless of what is happening to you. So it is like, in a way, it is controlled process that gives you behavior of, I believe, behavior of that most successful people really do have.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting, because it sounds like what you're saying is a lot of successful people, the reason they're successful is because they have these behaviors or personality traits, but to them it's unconscious, where they just do it automatically.
Of course.
Whereas here we're learning how to do that consciously, so we can kind of shape our own behaviors, our own mindset. You know, on the topic of obstacles, internal resistance, since we talked about how that's kind of the main blocker for people, what are some common typical obstacles that you see in your students, your clients, that they focus on overcoming to get to where they want to achieve their goals?
It really depends. It really depends, because basically every situation that you have will have different conflicts. And every person has different conflicts about that. For example, you might start with like, mostly this process starts with some people that are general or generally connected to how we perceive ourselves. So some kind of limiting beliefs that we are having. For example, like, it might be, I don't know, I'm unlucky. If you believe that you are unlucky, you will basically interpret everything that is happening to you in a certain way or negative way, and that will really make it very, very easy to give up your goals. If you believe that, for example, like, if you say to yourself something like, I cannot achieve my goal because I live in poor country. I cannot have a lot of money because I live in poor country. That kind of like perception of situation will really make you not use all your opportunities that you have in your specific situation. If you pay attention, there are some things that I call the golden rules of quick goals. And first of them is, if you want to achieve your goal, you need to be oriented toward your goal instead of away from your goal, or away from some barrier. So basically, most people are having, basically almost everybody is having feelings. When you think about your goal, you will have some ideas about that will tell you why you cannot have it, or why maybe you cannot have it. For example, like I want to have a lot of money to create my own business, but I feel I cannot have it because there is global economic crisis, and the situation is really bad economic situation in my country, and there is global economic crisis. I cannot have my goal. If you pay attention to that, you will see that this is that I'm not oriented toward my goal. Like I feel because of such and such, I cannot have my goal. And this is something that you can really eliminate with technique. And this is why we say you need to be oriented toward your goal and not instead of your goal. I cannot have different ideas why I cannot have my goal, which most people have. I need to be able to eliminate them in order to have that orientation toward goal instead of away from the goal. This could be one of the ideas. I am not quite sure about what would be. Like different people are having totally different. For example, if you pay attention, if you had two basketball teams, and you have situation which is, I don't know, 30 seconds to the end, and there is 30 seconds to the end, and one of teams is 2 points ahead, and they have ball, and they achieve one more basket. And in that situation, it is really easy for team who is 5 points behind to feel there is not enough time, and we are 5 points behind. We cannot win this game because they achieved that basket that happened 5 seconds ago. Right. This is natural, like this is situation. They will probably try to play till the end, but actually
kind of
this is
given up.
Yes, this is. You can maybe, if you pay attention when you're looking to the race, there is a race 800 meters or something like that, and you can see people running, and you have two people who are leading. They are pretty much neck to neck. They are running, and then in one moment you see somebody getting he is in 3 steps, he is getting 5 meters behind, 5 yards behind. And this is, you can see basically, if you know what is happening, you know what happened there. You know that in one moment he said something like, I cannot do it anymore. This is a moment when he gave up the situation, and this is pretty much what everybody is doing when we are giving up. Like you have some idea why you cannot. He is not able to stand some really unpleasant physical sensations that he is experiencing. He in one moment he concludes, I cannot do it anymore, and he gives up. And this is why other guys wins who didn't experience that in the moment. Or things like that. So basically, you always have things that you are experiencing which are making you feel that you cannot have your goal because this or because of that.
Got it. Okay. And does this tie into procrastination or just some common patterns that some people?
I don't think that procrastination like that. People may think that procrastination is I don't know, my personal characteristic or something like that. I really don't think so. I really believe that procrastination is just confusion about what are you going to do and how you're going to do, connected with problematic emotions to some of the choices that you have about that. If you pay attention, like people, for example, you can see that somebody like Bill Gates, he created his, like, from 76 or 77, I don't know when he created Microsoft, but in 20 years he created the biggest company on the planet, Microsoft. And in that process, he tried many different things, and a lot of them failed, but he continued trying, like we discussed before. Like he did this, but this didn't work. But the second thing worked a little better. That improved a little bit more. And then he do this, and then he do that. Blah, 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 blah. 20 years of different things that he did. But if you pay attention, if you could check and find specific things that worked, like there are things that produce results for him. If he had that list from the beginning, things that will work, and if there are totally specific things that he can do, write an email to that person, make a proposal to that other company, blah, 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 blah. If he knew from the beginning that everybody could, if you have a list of these things that are specific to do, everybody could do that. But actually, we don't have them. We have problematic ideas about this or that, what I can do and what I cannot do. And because of that, people are having confusion. And because of that, people are procrastinating. You are not procrastinating because you don't know that you shouldn't procrastinate, but because you have doubts about outcome. If you say to yourself, for example, person say to himself, I need to make a text for that website page that will improve my business. Usually that person is having doubts about final result of that. He's not quite sure that this will give him result that he wants. Or he said, this will give me such and such improvement, but actually it really doesn't matter because this is not what I really want. This is not improvement of 500% that I want, or something like that. So basically, in most situations, I believe, procrastination is just a lack of clear vision of what I should do and what the results will be. So basically, he has doubts about if this will really give him results, a final result that he really wants.
Okay. And does the quick goal system address
yes, of course, like
procrastination?
Yes, because you will be able to create that clear vision of what to do and how, and you will be able to notice and deal with these doubts that are connected to these things about which you are procrastinating. Because you are procrastinating with them, you will be able to see why you are procrastinating. You will be able to find why and deal with that. You will have clearness about not some kind of foggy confusion about that, but you will have absolute clearness about what I need to do and how. What is my personal way how to achieve my goal? Not what somebody like my father and my mother said that I should do, but what is the best possible way for me to achieve something like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's really beautiful. You come full circle. So that's the spirituality aspect of it, where it's not just
absolutely.
do X, Y, Z. It's eliminating some of the internal resistance barriers at the root level. So then you're moving towards your goal in your own path.
Absolutely. That's and the interesting thing about this is also that some people, like for example, if your goal wasn't the right goal for you, let's say that you have a person who never got support from his father. And my father always thought that I won't be able to achieve this, or won't be able to achieve that. And he wants to earn $1 million in order to show, like he's not aware of that, but his goal is to earn like $5 million, to have $5 million in the bank. If his goal is not natural for him, if this is not something that he actually wants, and that's something that will really improve his reality, he will, like, when he starts practicing quick goals, he will eliminate conflicts. And if his problem, if deeper problem from which he created such a goal is his relationship with his father, it will be necessary for him in the system to eliminate these emotional conflicts. Once he eliminates these conflicts, he might realize that this is not natural goal for him at all, and that he might be much more, he will be much happier if he creates his passive income of, I don't know, $5,000 a month, than to have $5 million in the bank. And this is what he should work on. And basically, you can say my experience with that is that on workshops, on pre-goal workshops, 30% of people change in this or that measure their goals. This is because when you start eliminating inner conflicts that you have connected to your goal, your perception of the goal really changes. And if your goal was not a real and natural and right thing for you, like really your goal, then you will change your goal in that area. It will become a goal which is relatively similar in most ways to that, but actually could be really different.
Wow, yeah, that sounds like a very important step because, without doing it, a lot of us, we think that what we want is what we really want, but if we look deeper, it's, we're trying to get another need or intention fulfilled, and we don't really need to, create this thing that is going to take all this time and energy when we could do something much simpler.
Absolutely. I worked with a person who was her first goal was to increase the number of her. She was a piano teacher, and her goal was, I want to have such and such number of students in something like 1/4 of the workshop. Like, she realized that she doesn't want to have more students. She doesn't want to work with students at all. She wants to be like concert pianist. And then she changed her goal about that. This is exactly, if you pay attention, like such person, if you don't have a really good system, like to deal with emotional conflicts, then you will have something that they call oscillation structure. She might do some things to motivate herself to increase students, make website, to make some, I don't know, paid ads or something. Like, she improve her situation with students a little bit. When she improves situation a little bit, then her motivation that was pushing her, like she was lacking money, she doesn't want to be poor, blah, 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 blah. And she is motivated and she pressed herself and she acquired new students. When she achieved a small part of that goal, then motivation falls because there is not so much pressure on her after that. And she then starts working with less students. When she is again when she doesn't have enough money, she will push herself again and she will acquire students again. This is oscillation structure. It oscillates because the goal is not a really good goal for her. She really doesn't want to. This is based on some previous situation that tells her that she cannot be a successful concert pianist. And because of that, she's staying there and she's working on a goal that she apparently wants, but actually she doesn't. And because of that, she's oscillating and she's spending most of her life, and she's not aware, she's not able to understand why she's behaving in the wrong way, why she didn't continue working with students and things like that. But actually, she really doesn't want to continue that.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really powerful just to have that clarity. And I think having that clarity and having been through this myself, several times, I can say that just getting getting clarity on the goal and getting the alignment, the inner alignment there, it just feels so good. And that alone is enough to just, motivate someone towards action, even if you don't know the exact path. versus, just have a vague general idea of what the goal is, feeling like you should do something and just having these inner conflicts floating around that just makes it a lot harder, a lot less fun too, to take action towards it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I think that's all the time we have today. I know we didn't really get into the system itself, but that's what we're going to cover on the workshop or the free webinar. So I'm wondering if there's anything else that you would like people to know about the system, yourself, or yeah, any final words?
Yes, like one of the things that I didn't say is that sorry, is that like one of the basic techniques that we are using, it is 10 fingers technique. One of the first questions is something like check if it is possible for you to fail. And this is what we are doing most of the time during workshop or during programs and things like that. What is really impressive for me is that, for example, when I'm doing 2 days workshops, this is not what we're going to do, but this is one of the things that I was doing previously. When you have a 2 days workshop, when you start, you perceive possibility for your achievement of your goal, something like 15%, 20%, or something like that. But in the end, most like 90% of participants, 95% of the participants, and in a state in which they believe that it is not possible for them to fail. I know that people who are listening really almost cannot, just one moment. People who haven't experienced it, they cannot really believe in something like that. But actually, in the end of workshop, most people, 90% of the people, end in a state in which they feel that it's not possible for them to fail. I don't if somebody told me before I started to practice myself quick goals, to tell me that, okay, this is my goal. I would like to feel that about some goal that it's not possible to fail. I wouldn't believe that something like that is possible. Right. If somebody told me, if somebody came to me, because I was coaching even before that, if somebody came to me and said, okay, this is my goal, this is what I want for us to create in that in these sessions, I would say, okay, this is not realistic. This is something that you really cannot expect to have in a session. But this is really what most people experience at the end of quick goals practice. I really, for me, it is really, really something that is, even now, it is something that is impressive and almost hard for me to believe.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to imagine that, because when we think about before doing the process, there's just this big gap between.
So you know that you have been there, so you experienced that, yeah.
Right, and after the process, we just close that gap, and it feels like the only gap is just action.
Yeah, of course.
Time and action. Cool. Anything else? Any other closing words?
No, this is it for me. But we will have that webinar in which we will be able to demonstrate most of these things.
Yes. Yeah. So really looking forward to that. Thank you for your time, Filip. This was a really enlightening conversation. I think there's just so many nuggets of wisdom you've dropped on just kind of
thank you.
very high level goal achievement system that just cuts through a lot of the BS, a lot of stuff that doesn't work, and just gets to the core of what's really stopping us as spiritual beings who want new experiences and have desires, how to achieve what we want in a way that's aligned. So I think it just checks so many of those boxes that we want here. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to hosting the workshop with you.
It was absolutely a pleasure for me too.